His grandmother would accompany him to the school as the temple was attached to the school and she used to visit the temple daily. And he would sit on the veranda with other children, would sing the alphabets and prayers in the chorus. On the other hand, she would sit in the temple to read the scriptures. After finishing, they would walk back home together. The village dog met them at the village door. They would follow them to their home, growling and fighting with each other to the stale chapatis that she fed them. When his parents got settled in the city, they called them. That was the turning point of his friendship with his grandmother. They shared the same room, but she no longer would have him company to his school. He started going to an English medium school and a motor bus would come to pick and drop him. There were no dogs in the streets whom she could feed as she did in the village. So she started feeding sparrows in the veranda of their house. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. When I came back to wood, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. This made her unhappy. She could not help me with my lessons. She did not believe in the things they taught at the English school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. One day I announced that we were being given music lesson. She was very disturbed. To her music had lured associations. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars and not meant for gentlefolk. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. Now, as the years passed in the city, their interaction reduced day by day. For some time, she continued to wake him up and would get him ready for school. She would ask him what he had learned in school that day. The scientific terminology and English words made her unhappy. As she did not know the language, she could not help him with the lessons. As his new school never taught him about God and religious scriptures, this made her sad. Now, she did not approve of such an education. When she came to know that she was getting music lessons, it disturbed her. According to her, music was indecent and it was an art for the beggars and prostitutes and not for those belonging to decent family. She did not like that he learned music, so she stopped talking to him. When I went to universities, I was given a room of my own. The common link of friendship was snapped. My grandmother accepted her salutation with resignation. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel spinning and reciting prayers. Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. While she sat in the veranda breaking the bread into little bites, hundreds of little birds collected round her, getting veritable bedlam of chirpings. Some came and perched on her legs, others on her shoulders. Some even sat on her head. She smiled but never shooed them away. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day of her. Now, As the author went to the university, she had a room of his own. The common link of his friendship with his grandmother that they had been shared, the same room was changed now, and his friendship was ended. She became more private and spent her whole day spinning wheel. From sunrise to sunset, she would sit and silently recite her prayers. In the afternoon, she used to feed sparrows in the veranda, breaking the bread into small pieces. She would feed hundreds of birds. The birds would gather around her. Some sat near her, some on her legs, some on her shoulders, and few on her head. She never sued them, but always smiled. She was the happiest in that half an hour during the whole day. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I would be away for 5 years, and her age, one could never tell. But my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. She came to leave me at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotion. Her lips moved in prayer, her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Silently, she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished the most imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and was met by her at the station. She did not look a day older. She still had no time for words, and while she clapped me in her arms, and I could hear her reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer with the Fairbress ribbocks. When the author decided to go abroad for his further studies, he believed that it would be last time he would see her mother as she was very old and gone for 5 long years. As they all reached the station, they held him tightly and kissed his forehead. He thought it was the last physical contact with her. The wet impression of her hand was dear to him. She was not sentimental at all. When she came back after 5 years, he came to meet him at the station. She looked just the way she did 5 years ago, not a day older. She held him again in her arm and was still reciting the prayer. He noticed on the first day of his arrival that only sparrows would make her happy. In the evening, a change came over her. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. For several hours, she thumped and sagging skins of dilapidated drum and sang on the homecoming of warriors. We had to pursue her to stop to avoid overstraining. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. The next morning she was taken ill. It was a mild fever, and the doctor told us that it would go. But my grandmother thought differently. She told us that her end was near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, and she omitted to pray, she was not going to waste any more time taking to us. Sagging means sinking downwards. Now, what happened one evening? An evening she did not follow her regular routine of praying. She collected few women from the neighborhood, got a drum and started singing with them. She thumped the reun part of the drum and sang alone. The whole family persuaded her to stop as she might get ill due to exhaustion. The next morning she fell ill. It was a mild fever, and the doctor told them that it would go away, but she took it differently. According to her, she would die soon as her end was near. She started chanting prayers as she didn't want to waste her last hours in talking to anyone. We protested, but she ignored our protests. She lay peacefully in bed praying and telling her beads. Even before she could suspect, her lips stopped moving from the rosary, fell from the lifeless fingers. A peaceful pallor spread on her face, and we knew that she was dead. Now, the family protested, tried to stop her, but she lay peacefully on her bed, chanting prayers and doing her beads. Suddenly, she stopped, and the rosary fell from her lifeless finger. A calm, pale appearance spread on her face, and she was dead. We lifted her off the bed, and as customary laid her on the ground and covered her with a red shroud. After a few hours of mourning, we left her alone to make arrangements of her funeral. In the evening, we went to her room with a crowd stretcher to take her to be cremated. The sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with a blaze of golden light. We stopped halfway of the courtyard. All over the veranda and in her room, right up where she lay dead and stiff wrapped in her red shroud, thousands of sparrows sat scattered on her floor. There was no chirping. We felt sorry for the birds, and my mother fed some bread for them. She broke it into little crumbles, the way my grandmother used to, and threw it to them. The sparrows took no notice of the bread. When she cried my grandmother's crops off, they flew away quietly. Next morning, the sweeper swept the bread crumbles into the